Probably not. What's up, guys? Alfonso, and here we want to do a nice little quick discussion on whether or not the merger should actually happen. Like, actually happen. Or whether or not it may be maybe a little bit, just a little bit too much to happen, and honestly may not have, like, the best reasoning to transpire. But we have a decent chunk to talk about, so let's not waste any more time, and let's hop right into it. Editing me. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, the merger. The big M. The mighty mirror. My friend said, it's kind of like a Megazord. And I was like, I mean, I guess. In like a super roundabout way, it's a Megazord. But the merger. Obviously, with Kenjaku, I'll just lean into it. Whatever. I'm going to make a video talking about why I wanted to stay alive. I want to be back. But obviously, with Big Kenny seemingly being big cooked, with Sukuna being the backup plan, with all that, Kenny's out the plot. His main goal, his main dream, his ambition of 1,000 or maybe even more years is cooked at last. Except we have Sukuna, who can start the merger at any time because he's the new daddy. And he could literally start it, presumably, at any time. But the question is, with how it's set up now, should it happen? And you may be wondering, why are you specifying now? Like, for what reason? What changed from 248 and 249 to you, who was a full-on merger meat muncher, which I will admit, and I still low-key kind of am, but from merger meat muncher to, wait a minute, maybe we don't want this. The main reason I'm a little bit hesitant to start the merger now is, one, because the stakes are actually kind of hitting me. I know it's been, like, long since established that all of Japan would be consumed, but, like all Japan is cooked. Like, Kusakabe strip admitted, like, all of Japan is cooked if Sukuna decides to get a little bit mighty merger. And number two, really, it's the condition. It's the condition that Sukuna laid out. Before Yuta and just drop Kenny, it felt like the merger could happen whenever. Like, literally, legitimately, it could have felt like we'd be in the middle of Yuji and Yuta versus Sukuna, and Hikari's jumping in, and Maki's jumping in, and everyone's going crazy, and suddenly, Kenny's like, alright, I think that's enough Culling Games players, and just starts the merger. Like, straight up starts the merger, and then we now have a three-way sort of contest going on. The embodiment of all of humanity, concentrated under the willpower and the evolution of Tengen, versus the free-for-all, the body of absolute malice and power, and Ryomen Sukuna, and finally the crew of the main characters, our heroes, the protagonists, Yuji Itadori and friends. It felt like that is what was going to happen. We were going to have this sort of three-way counter-offense where it wouldn't necessarily be Yuji teaming up with Sukuna, Yuji and the crew teaming up with Sukuna, but it also would kind of be like the merger just attacks things that also happen to be Sukuna, and thusly, hypothetically, merger on Sukuna and crew on Sukuna / crew on merger. Like, there's still crazy things that could happen. But, once again, the man's cooked. There is no free autonomous story in the merger. Once again, assuming with the fact that there are no binding vows, there's no soul splitting in the objects, there's no nothing. If I just bury every last bit of Kenny Copium, and trust me, I have a whole lot of Kenny Copium, then there is no starting the merger automatically. In fact, with Tengen fully leaving Kenny, like straight up, we see Kenny birth him, or birth her, though admittedly she said she transcends gender now, because of, the whole, like, half-human, half-cursed evolution thing. But still, Kenny gives birth, sends the baby over to Sukuna, who decides to be a present father, and consume the baby. So, like, I don't even think Kenny can remote start that bad boy, even if Kenny's still alive. Mainly because of the rule and how it's stated. A player has added a new rule to the Culling Game. Rule 15, make me Fushiguro has the... Well, here's the thing. There's, like, a light loop of copium, but once again, this is going to go under the assumption that Kenny is just genuinely straight up 100 million, billion, not million % cooked. If that's the case, it doesn't matter that Megumi Fushiguro now has the authority, which could imply, like, Suguru Geto / Kenjaku also has the authority, but, like, it just seems like that's not the case anymore. Meaning that the merger starts on Sukuna's terms. And, hey, I love Sukuna. Man's fantastic. He's wonderful. Amazing. But just like Kusakabe says, he doesn't really see the vision of Sukuna starting the merger, right? Like, Sukuna, he's monstrous, evil, a beast, a demon, but he's mostly lazy and like sedentary. Like notably, Sukuna, at least in his prime, he never left Japan. Like he kind of just chilled out for the most part. Like we talk about Sukuna as this massive, horrifying, continental, world-destroying threat. Like literally in the volume of on the back of the volume of the first manga, he's literally seen to be a threat to the entire world if he regains his full power. But like, dude just be vibing for the most part. So the likelihood of him starting the merger at random is basically zero. But then that gets shot in the foot because we see merger give a prerequisite, or merger give a prerequisite. Sukuna give a prerequisite to the merger. As he says, first, I'm going to slaughter all of you. Then I'm going to slaughter all the Culling Game players. And then I'll have Tengen and the masses merge. After that, depending on how things turn out, I'll have some fun with Tengen. So now, the major reason why I'm a bit hesitant on the merger happening is because everyone needs to fall. And don't get me wrong, we as the community have definitely been hard memeing. Like, I mean, it's basically not a meme at this point, but it still is a meme. We've been hard memeing that we're reading Sukuna Kaisen. Like, it's no longer Jujutsu Kaisen, it's no longer Jujutsu Kaisen, it's literally Sukuna Kaisen. Bro might as well be the main character with how he's been cooking as of recent. But, like, in actuality, as much as I'm perfectly fine with the idea that Yuji Itadori will be the last man standing, I'm expecting him to get dropped. I'm expecting Ino to get dropped. I'm expecting the Kokani to get dropped. Yuta to get dropped. Rika to get dropped. I'm expecting everybody to fall. Yuji Itadori is part of everybody. And like, if everyone does fall, and it is just Yuji Itadori left, I don't see the vision of Yuji soloing Sukuna. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And let's say he does, and then Sukuna still starts the merger, like, on his last breath. I don't see the vision of Yuji v merger. Now, there is some, like, questionable things that go into that. Like, 249 very explicitly establishes that Yuji has some ability of his in order to deliver a blow that'll capture the soul and tear people apart from a certain body. But, like, one, we don't know how effectively Yuji can do this, considering Hana and Angel are still seemingly in symbiosis, and that's the only person they could reasonably test it on, because no one, well, Kashimo maybe, but I doubt he would have consented to that anyway. So, like, there's no real way to test that on anybody, other than Kusakabe, I guess, which we saw in that volume extra and way back in chapter 222, but, actually, I think that was 220, I forget which one it is. But still, other than that, I don't see bro, like, disassembling millions of people. I really don't. And I don't like the idea that Yuji's just going to perish and then we're just going to get Sukuna v merger. I was totally fine. Like, don't get me wrong. I was totally fine with Sukuna v merger if it was this big brain boy starting it. If Kenny was just like, merger time, and the merger started merging all over everywhere, and it was Sukuna who had to deal with it alongside everybody else, I like it. Sounds smooth. Sounds buttery. But the fact that this prerequisite has been established, that Sukuna needs to slaughter everybody, all the people, all the Culling players, all that, seems a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit suspicious. Of course he says this, but that doesn't mean he necessarily has to do it. But presumably Sukuna wouldn't go back on something like this. He's like, hey, yo, bro, I'll be real with you. All y'all man fodder. Man, I ended up trying to confuse two words there. All y'all men and women, the ones that are standing aside or currently in the Shadow Realm, looking at you, Maki, all y'all fodder. I'm gonna tear y'all limb from limb, and then I'm gonna start cooking with things. And like, I kind of don't want that, because that implies Itadori has to go too. And then we just end the protagonist side of the story. And that is unfortunate to me. And here's the thing. Ironically enough, I don't even want Sukuna to like lose to the scenario that's set up in 249, where he's currently, being domain gained and being forced to hold Hollow Worker Basket. I don't want that to lead to merger either. Because, say, like, hypothetically, Sukuna starts the merger early because he needs to, like, break out of this admittedly very, very solid, amazing, juicy, scrumbly, umptious wombo combo. Like, even with that being the case, I really don't want bro to start the merger then, because once again we kind of run into the issue where if Sukuna, unless he also, like, say he starts the merger and breaks free, and once again we get the scenario that I highlighted earlier where it's kind of like a free-for-all, Sukuna v the merger v Yuji and crew v Sukuna v the merger, like it's just straight up wild free-for-all, then maybe that Sukuna just uses it as a get out to domain, but then again, you still sacrificed millions of people. And I'm not sure Yuji's individually punching the merger apart after they defeat it, if they even can defeat it, because of how powerful it would be. And number two, once again, I don't think Tengen is that interesting as a final boss. Like, don't get me wrong, your boy was definitely, for the longest time until this very moment, huffing copium that Kenny would be the final boss. You know, I thought this man was the final antagonist. I mean, they still have some hope, but that's literally just cope. Like, drop the hope, drop the H for a C, and then you have me. But, with that being the case, Kenny had dynamics with characters. Kenny is the main character's mother. Kenny is responsible for the entire plot. Tengen is a plot device. Like literally a device, an in-series mechanic to maintain the flow of cursed energy as it is in Japan. We've gotten like what? If you were to total all of Tengen's speaking lines together, it may like probably they do talk a lot upon their like proper introduction. So it may be like 3 chapters worth of dialogue. Maybe. Totaling it all together and being super duper generous. Tengen's barely a character. I'll be real with you. The most thing that people know Tengen for is fumbling. And like, you know, being slurped up and turned into baby Tengen. That's about it. So Tengen being our final boss, I'm not leaning towards it anymore. Well, not anymore in general, but like, even if technically by the merger happening, Kenny would be vicariously living through their baby in Giga Tengen, I still feel like it wouldn't hit the same, because it's just a big, bad final monster. Typically, I like my antagonists to have some sort of tie, especially final antagonists to have some sort of direct tie to our main characters. Or if not our main characters, any character. But who here, actually since Yuki's gone, the only star plasma vessel, who here even has a tie to Tengen? That's right, nobody. So like, I don't know. Personally, I'm kind of leaning towards I don't want the merger to happen. You can literally just let it end off as Sukuna and let Kenny's dream fall through. Of course, the Kenny Glazer in me is like, no, I want to have Kenny succeed. I want his dream to come true. But like, too many people be sacrificed. According to Sukuna, he's going to slaughter the rest of the cast in order for that to happen. And as much as I like Sukuna, I do not want Sukuna Kaisen. So I mean, I don't think the merger should happen. At least not at this point. Unless something gets flipped or some fancy reveal happens where something is someone and someone is still alive and certain things happen, I don't think the merger should happen. For the sake of the plot and anything that could follow from that. However, what do you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section down below. I think it's what you want. Please leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also want to become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks will include the live reaction to the very next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dagger the Pencil, writing off. Gotcha. Now I'm going to really see who makes it all the way to the end. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, after the outro and everything, I think this is the latest I've ever done it, please leave minus merge in the comment section down below. But I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dagger the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays, Red Wolf 4765, Greyhound, and Atkins Void. I'd like to give another big thank you to our $5 patrons, Victor, Sean, RNG Master, Midnight Gemlord, Metal Solid Crisis, Kevin, Igneal, and Demix LND. Another scrumptious thank you to our $7 members, Autumn Mornings Lazo, and Sick Addiction. And I'd like to give another hefty thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchiha, Joaquin, Idemokami, and China Doll 09. And I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. And I'd like to give a thank you, an amazing thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder. And another thank you to our next $25 patron, EHack1. And a final thank you to our final $25 patron, Stira.